Jen Dillon has dedicated over 20 years to energy work, herbal remedies, and homeopathy. Inspired by the 2014 documentary Water Memory, she began pioneering electronic frequency remedies with diverse carriers. Since 2020, her work has evolved into research, culminating in the homeopathic spike detox formula, now undergoing independent clinical trials for long COVID and spike protein removal.
Yay!
So, yay!
Exciting times for this research that I'm involved in. I definitely feel like I'm a vessel for this, and it's really evolved in the last, well, really since the spring of 21 was when I put this protocol together. So yeah, it's been quite the journey.
So it's not new news to you, but it's new news to many people. And these last 5 years have been really challenging for so many of us. And
Yes.
We've lost a lot of loved ones, and we have experienced a lot of illness and a lot of silencing of our voices. And you are here to share with us something that I just think is just so hopeful. So first, let's just dive into what is this spike protein and why is it so important to our health and well-being?
So the spike protein, there is hundreds and hundreds of studies on what the spike protein is. To me, in the group of practitioners that are doing the clinical research I'm involved with, we believe that the spike protein is a crystalline protein that is non-human, and the body is unable to recognize it and break it down by itself.
Yeah. So something foreign,
a foreign protein in the body that is a non-human protein, and the body doesn't know how to break it down. Essentially, that is what the spike protein is.
Yeah. And it's toxic to the human body, correct?
The spike protein comes from the mRNA injections and the COVID shots and the COVID virus itself. If you believe it's a virus, I'll just throw it out that way. And the spike protein causes systemic inflammation throughout the body, which leads to havoc in the body and disease.
And this protein is self-replicating, correct?
Yes,
so that once it's in your body, it just keeps making more of itself. Is that correct?
Yes, it produces. Yes.
So eliminating it from the body so that it can stop replicating is key to being able to get past the symptoms that we're experiencing from that spike protein. Is that true?
I will say, from all of the studies that are published on what the spike protein is and does, that we need to be vigilant and understand what it is and keep ourselves as healthy as possible, whether that's diet, herbs, homeopathy, whatever means are available to help keep the spike protein at bay or pull it out of the blood, which is what this research is about. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
And I did want to kind of follow up on that note. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of practitioners I talk to are saying, hey, Jen, I'll be discussing this with another homeopath, and she'll say, I noticed I'm not getting the same results with this remedy that I used to. Do you think it's the spike protein? And I'm like, absolutely. And so she's like, so do you think once we pull the spike protein out, that this remedy will help for this ongoing pre-existing condition? And I said, absolutely. So a lot of practitioners have expressed to me that remedies they've used for years, whether herbal, homeopathy, different protocols, are not working the same. And the underlying issue is, in my opinion, the spike protein.
Yeah. Yeah. So this movie that you mentioned with the Water Memory, people are probably familiar with Masaru Emoto, who did a lot of pictures and images of frozen water. And when you say love, it makes this beautiful crystal structure. And if you say hate, I hate you, then the crystal makes this really ugly structure. It's very different, the chaos versus the the beauty and the structure that comes from just those words, right? And that this concept that water has memory. In the movie that you showed, I went and watched that movie, and it's with Luc Montagnier. His research, he was a Nobel Prize winner, and he's the one that inspired you for this, correct?
He did. Interestingly enough, he spent many years working for the NIH, and he was the leading epidemiologist in the world at the time COVID happened. And the work that he did outside of the NIH had to do with programming water. That was what interested me. And I find the background of Luke so amazing, to go from virology and everything he did at the NIH to going so far off the other end of the spectrum, that I think that says something in itself.
And he spoke out very strongly against all that was happening during COVID and died shortly thereafter.
He did. He did.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this whole water memory thing, and
Yes.
well, I want to interject something here, because there was a video that still haunts me. It was 30 seconds long.
Okay.
And it was this man who worked for one of the 5G companies, 5G tower. He was up at the top of this tower. He had his cell phone. He said, "I'm just doing some maintenance work up here." And he was saying, "Here's this machine. This is what it does. And that's what this machine does. And that's what this machine does. And I'm going to fill this one up," or whatever. But when you put these two machines together and it sends out these frequencies, that's COVID. And that blew my circuits. And he obviously knew what he was talking about. He wouldn't be up at the top of a cell tower. He wouldn't be making a recording on his phone, right, and sharing it with the world in that kind of anonymous way if he didn't have something to say about this. So anyway, I just thought, that's interesting. This is the frequencies,
Well,
right?
yes. And boy, you've opened a can of worms.
I tend to do
I
that.
didn't know how deep we were going to go, Terri. So I have a background in homeopathy, but I started getting involved in frequency years ago. And then after 2014, I started playing around with different carriers and programming my own remedies using water, different mediums, different carriers with frequency. And this was prior to COVID. Okay. And then when COVID hit, I instinctively felt that it was cellular disruption on a mass scale.
Mm-hmm.
That was my intuitive feeling based
Worldwide.
on my background.
Mm-hmm. Worldwide, yeah.
So to me and to all the practitioners now that are involved in my research, we believe COVID is cellular disruption. Okay, yeah. That's what we believe.
Yeah.
So the way to fix cellular disruption is to get the cells to start communicating again. And the way that we've gone about this is to program frequencies that are cellular frequencies that relate to each system in the body to get that body to remember.
Yeah. And I'm realizing maybe we need to back up a little bit, because maybe everybody here doesn't actually know what a homeopathic remedy is, but I'll just describe it, or maybe you want to describe it, what a homeopathic remedy is.
A classical homeopathic remedy is different than what we're doing. Okay.
Yes. Because
So
you're using the frequencies.
We're doing a frequency. Yes, we are doing a frequency remedy. We are programming a carrier with frequency to help ignite the body to hopefully kick in and do what the body should be doing, and recognize that unidentified protein.
But a homeopathic remedy in the past, what I want to get at and what I want people to realize about homeopathic remedies is that, well, first of all, they're very effective, but they're also very inexpensive. And sometimes less is more. Like when I trained as an orthobionomy practitioner, that was one of the key principles, is that less is more. And, we have a culture where we believe oh, it has to be bigger, more is better. And actually that has not been true, and at least especially listening to my body and honoring what it's saying. It's often less is more. And so what a homeopathic remedy is, you put a small amount, you tighter it, and just a drop in a big container, and you take one out of 9 parts are just water, and then 1 part is whatever remedy or homeopathic remedy or some medicine or helpful structure, and then you actually keep titrating it so that it keeps getting less and less and less, to the point where you barely have anything of the remedy left, and or maybe nothing, actually, according to
It's
Luke
like it's a
Stone.
nano tincture in a carrier, whether it be sucrose or water or lactose. There's different carriers used in classical homeopathy. And
So there's yeah, so hardly anything is in there that was originally in there, and it just gets less and less and less over time, but the water remembers what that frequency was, and so it stays in a place, in a form that can still help the body, even though maybe it's only a memory. That's the point I'm trying to get to.
it is true. You hit it on the head. That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I started playing around with water and programming water in the beginning, and then I found a way to work with sucrose, and I actually really like the sucrose because I can ship it everywhere, and the sucrose breaks down the fructose and glucose, and gets it in every tissue of the body. And so it's interesting because now I've worked with different carriers, but the concept is still there. You're programming a carrier to deliver a cellular response and get the body to remember, because the body's disrupted. The cellular frequencies are currently disrupted by whatever you want to call it, COVID or some other ailment. So, yeah.
So you have these little sucralose pellets that are just very tiny. I mean, maybe
Sucrose.
as big in between my fingers, right?
Yes.
And you might have maybe 5 of those in a dose.
It's usually 3 or 4 pellets.
3 or 4
tiny. Pellets. Yeah.
And you put them, you don't touch them, you don't put them in your hand. You put it in the cap of the container that it comes in, and then you just let it dissolve underneath your tongue.
Right.
And it manages to get throughout your entire body.
Yes.
And the very, very, very exciting thing is that you have been doing clinical trials and research with this as a remedy for people with long COVID, for people who have had injuries from the shots, from different types of people who were sick with COVID and have had a hard time recovering, and that your clinical trials are showing like a 90% efficacy. Is that correct?
That is what my other practitioners are reporting. Yes.
Yes. So you're the researcher, you're the developer of this whole formula, which the sugar pellets are frequencied with COVID frequency, right?
Right. Well,
And
it's actually with frequencies that each of the systems in the body recognize. So it's sending a signal to your respiratory system or your cardiovascular system saying, wake up.
yes,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah.
It's that's a theme, right? Wake up, wake up. Everybody needs to wake up right now.
That's it, because there's some obstacle over here and you're not doing your job.
Yeah. So, hey, hello, you can do your job. Everything will get better, right? If you do your job.
I think that's kind of the way to say it to people. I mean, we're walking batteries. We're energetic beings. Okay. So basically, cells use bioelectric signals. Okay. And tiny voltage gradients across cell membranes coordinate growth, healing, regeneration, if that makes sense. Cellular frequencies, they act like information codes. I guess that's the way I'll put it. And then
so does food, right?
Right.
Food is information codes too, right?
Right.
But so is this remedy that you have.
Yes. I'm just trying to kind of how can people get this, right?
Yes. Exactly. It's kind of thinking outside the box, right?
Right.
So from what we've been taught, and so it sounds like this frequency that they're bringing in with the little sugar pellets underneath their tongue is somehow like, I'm just thinking about waves. Waves of
Waves.
energy have certain heights or certain depths or widths, and
Right.
that their other waves can come in and kind of cancel out those waves that are there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that sounds like that's what this is doing. Would you agree
Oh,
with
yeah. I
that?
mean, so you and I are communicating right now, and nobody knows how. They just know it works. A signal's being sent, right?
A signal.
Like we
That's
are
right.
having this conversation, and how is that possible? It's sending
Right.
a frequency.
Right. Right.
But the average person doesn't think like that because
Right.
we've not been taught that,
That's right. But we
you know?
know that the frequency of love, we know what that frequency feels like, and we know what the frequency of hate feels like, right? And we see the difference in that water and how it's frozen and how it has that memory. So we can, and we relate to each other somehow with the frequencies that we're sending out and receiving from each other.
Well, and we have I love to touch on this because I believe that serious issue that's been going on for a very long time is our biofield has been disrupted or hacked, however you want to put it. And a lot of people don't even understand that we have a biofield. So
Let's talk about that then.
why not just go there? We'll just blow this wide open today.
Go into rabbit holes. I love going into the rabbit holes. So,
you're really going deep here.
well, I'm hoping people are following it because it is a different way of thinking about things. But when you get a response rate in the 90 percentile range,
Right.
I think it's something we need to pay attention to, right?
Well, my practitioners have said that I'm cautious about what
You don't want to make those kind
yeah,
of claims.
I mean, I might be more like in my cases that I've had maybe in the 75% range of symptom relief. But
Still,
I've got
that's 3 out of 4.
I've got doctors, internal medicine doctors, I've got DOs, I've got PharmDs all saying, no, it's more like 90. Okay.
You're not going to argue with them about it, but you just have a different experience.
I just
right?
have, yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes remedies don't work the same on every person. So we have such diverse case studies. Just because somebody maybe reported they don't have asthma anymore doesn't mean that this is going to work for everybody with asthma. I just want, it's a very interesting thing because it's sending a signal for the body to do what the body does in each individual. So everybody's healing is a bit different.
Yeah.
So
And
biofield.
Yeah. And I'm curious if you think we've described the spike protein or described the remedy or this thing that you've developed well enough.
The thing about the spike protein is I can't say that I can get rid of the spike protein. What I can tell you is that the research we're doing, and everybody can go to getdetox.us to learn about it, is showing in a specialized blood test that identifies the foreign spike protein that after 8 weeks consistently in case studies that have shown to have the spike protein in their blood, it's gone after doing this. It's called homeopathic spike detox, HSD protocol for 8 weeks. So that doesn't mean it won't come back. That doesn't mean they can't get it again.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that we're not all going to continue to be exposed to it. There's so many unknowns. This is research. I'm really cautious about what I say. But as far as I know, other than enzyme therapy, which isn't proven to remove spike protein from the blood, this is the only thing out there in research currently demonstrating the ability to remove the spike protein from the blood. Right. As far as I know.
Right. As far as I know as well.
As far as I know.
Yeah. And so this HSD protocol, let's just say what is involved in that protocol, those 8 weeks. What do you do during those 8 weeks?
Originally, I had designed the protocol to be 4 doses over 4 weeks. And it was to get the systems to start communicating to each other in the body. And so like protocol A, for instance, you know, that might address the cardiovascular and respiratory system. Protocol B, for instance, you know, that would be another system. C, the neurological system, and so on. A, B, C, and D. I'm just giving you an example. And then after 4 weeks, you know, hopefully the body's doing what it's supposed to do. Well, 2 years ago, I met Dr. Alan Bain, an internal medicine doctor from the Chicago area, and he was already involved with research with this diagnostics lab that had this new S1 test that was identifying the spike protein in the blood. And there's only 2 labs in the entire world, from my understanding, that has this test. It's not FDA approved yet. So it's primarily being used in research.
And so this S1 test, what is that measuring?
It's actually identifying the foreign protein in the monocyte in the white blood cell. Mm-hmm. It does measure too, but for the purpose of our study, we want to identify the foreign protein the body's not breaking down and then make sure it's being removed.
Yeah.
So that's what the test is being used for the purpose of our study. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the before and after measure
yes.
of the treatment. Yeah. And
yes.
the treatment is once a week. You take these 4 little pellets, let them melt under your tongue, and you do that 8 weeks in a row. Is that correct?
You take it every 7 days, because if you take it sooner than that, you're cutting off the frequency.
Okay. So only once
one
a week.
dose once a week. And originally I designed it in 4 parts, but then we found out with this new test that it was consistently taking another round of it for 8 weeks to remove the foreign protein from the blood. So good thing for testing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
I mean, this is why we need research. This is why we need testing.
Yes. And so you got excited about this, and you started asking practitioners if they would be willing to come and volunteer, because you don't have the budgets that Big Pharma has. You're just this holistic health practitioner, right? Or this developer of frequencies.
This process and this work has really taken a road of its own, I guess, because it never went the way I thought it would go. And people like Dr. Bain just magically appeared in my life because they heard about me from somebody else, and then they tried it and they got amazing results, and then they wanted to get involved. And I mean, I had no prior relationship with Dr. Bain, and he's all the way in Chicago, and he's tied into this test I would have never known about, in this diagnostics lab back there in Chicago that I would have never known about. So, yeah, I mean, people have just come in and out of my life during this time and this research, and it just kind of came together. And I've now got a whole group of Western medical practitioners that are integrative, along with integrative and holistic practitioners, all working together doing this research. And it's been really amazing. I'm blessed, actually.
So how many people do you think have gone through this protocol so far?
Oh, well, if we're going back before we had access to the blood test and just doing like the symptom documentation, we're going back to the summer of 21. I mean, we've got probably over 1,000 case studies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I understand too is that I was thinking I would show this other video, but we might as well just do it while we're here, and we don't need to worry about that. I can just direct people to the link another time rather than spending 35 minutes watching the video. But I saw you on Redacted, the news show on Rumble. And so that's how I learned about what you were doing, and through Natalie interviewing you. And I just got really excited because I just heard that you were making this available to anybody, regardless of their resources. And that if you were a practitioner or somebody who needed this remedy, but didn't have the resources for it, even though it's very affordable, that you wanted people to go through your trials. And the blood tests are not very affordable to document the efficacy of your protocol. And so you were helping to match donors up with people who needed the support so that you could get these clinical trials and prove that the effectiveness of this remedy or not.
Yes, the problem is now we have too many people that want the testing done that can't afford it and not enough donors. So I hope we can fix that problem eventually. So we have quite a waiting list, but then there are people that will just pay, it's $360 plus a processing fee. It comes to like $414 for the test. And they ideally need two. They need one before they start the protocol to see if they have any of the markers or all three of the spike protein markers. And then again, after the 8 weeks, like at 9 or 10 weeks out, we want to test again to make sure those markers are clear, along with, of course, all of the documentation on their symptoms and how well they responded.
So the remedy, so it sounds like the blood test before and after is like $828
for two.
Two tests before and after. And then the protocol in the middle, what is the cost of that?
Well, we don't really, it's not really a product for sale. This is a case study. So we have a $200 enrollment fee. And that
includes what?
And that includes us. Well, there is an intake fee. I charge $65 to do a background intake on somebody, which is like less than half my normal rate because it's for research. And then the $200 is like we provide them forms, we do an intake call, we send them an 8-week protocol so they get the 8-week protocol. And then we have them fill out logs weekly and we communicate mostly through email. Unless there's something weird going on, then we would call them, So it's to provide the forms, to oversee the study, and then at the end to write up a case report.
Yeah. And my understanding also, Jen, is that you're recommending that people like do this and get their test before and after to show what's happening. But then you're also recommending that people do this protocol a couple of times a year ongoingly because there's this issue of shedding. And can we get into the shedding a little bit? And
I've never taken any mRNA shots myself personally. And I might have had COVID, but if I did, it would have been in the summer of 21, and it just felt like a sinus headache, and it was like passed in a couple days for me. But I myself know that I've had the spike one marker of the spike protein, and I travel a lot. I'm around a lot of people. So at this point, I've been taking my own protocol like every 6 months, but we recommend it once or twice a year.
Yeah. Ongoingly after that.
Well, and here's the thing with me, if I eat really clean and I live a really active lifestyle. I'm in my mid 50s. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if I feel my energy peak, it goes down, then I know I'm going to take it. That's how, because if I feel like, wait a minute, I don't have energy and it's not 10 o'clock. I'm feeling tired at 7. Okay. I need to take my protocol.
Yeah.
That's not my usual,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm highly energetic. So that is not normal for me. So then I know, hey, okay, time to take
if you're not feeling normal, you do something to get yourself back to where you were normally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm also very into grounding though. Like if I feel like I've been around, we'll just call it 5G exposure or something like that. Because I believe this is all connected to, which that's a whole other conversation, then I'll unplug from everything. And I believe in, grounding. I'll go outside, walk barefoot, take a hike somewhere in the woods and, just meditate, close my eyes for 6 to 10 minutes to recharge myself.
Yeah.
I believe in that. I full-heartedly believe in that. So that's another way we can take care of ourselves, honestly.
Yeah, I totally am with you on that. Getting off the shoes that have the rubber soles that prevent us from connecting with the earth and just putting our feet barefoot flat on the earth is such an important piece. I have a rocking chair outside in my backyard, and I I hang out in that chair with my feet, it's on the sidewalk, but my feet are on the earth, and I just hang out there every day if I can, and the first thing in the morning to ground myself, and I think that helps with, like, tinnitus and the other EMF, frequencies that are around. And the other thing I wanna bring up, and again, this is kinda opening up a whole 'nother can of worms, but, they're giving our dogs and cats and animals the mRNA injections now,
I've
and
heard that. I've heard that.
it's very frustrating. Not only is it harmful to them, but it's also, I love animals and animals love me. And so they just run up to me and I pet them. And then, okay, so then what happens? Then I have it too, right? So,
Well,
yeah,
honestly, I think we can all assume that we all have it, to be honest. I'm not going to be afraid to pet a dog. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be afraid to live, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Um, I think we just need to start having more open conversations, and hopefully in the future we'll see how things go in society, but we need to have access to this blood test, and people need to know, and we need to have not just this way, but maybe hopefully a lot of different ways that we can manage what we've all been exposed to,
yeah, yeah.
because and that's going to
Whoop, I think you froze. Hopefully you're coming back. Exposed and then you went frozen.
Oh, it froze. I said, we have to wonder, which way this is going to go in society, because they're still rolling out mRNA technology.
Yeah, yeah. And the
So,
and the EMF stuff that you mentioned earlier, we had a conversation about that this morning, and how this is a really critical time where we can reach out to our representatives, because the telecom industry wants to be able to put a cell tower anywhere they want to put it without having to check with any local governments or authorities at all. And they really want to take the power away from the local authorities to be able to determine that. And that now is a critical window before they do that, that we can tell our representatives and our mayors and board of supervisors or whoever is making these decisions that we don't want that, and that we can make a big difference. We can stop that from happening by speaking up, but it needs to be literally within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
is that in California?
It's nationwide.
Oh,
This is
nationwide.
this is in the House of Representatives that
Oh, I
they're
see.
trying to pass these 28 bills that didn't go down in 2023.
Oh, I
They've
see.
resurrected them, and there's so much involved in them. And I put a link in the chat earlier today
I'll
for
check it
Lynette
out.
Sinham's foghornexpress.substack.com. She's sort of leading the charge on this, and getting emails and Substack articles out about when is the time to reach out to our representatives. And this last week, they were, it looks like the House of Representatives is on the side of the telecom industries rather than on the side of the people, even though the vote was 24 to 26. They won by 2 votes. So we just need to be speaking out and saying no and standing our ground, like right now, because once they get this power, and if it passes, then we won't have say so anymore. So it's a critical time where we can actually change this. I'm wondering if you have something you want to share about that.
Well, I do know that a lot of people don't realize you don't have to have a smart meter on your house. I'm going to start with that. I mean, 5G, we should have never advanced from 3G. 5G is a weapon. 5G literally is a weapon. And the reason it has to be all around you, on your house, every block, is you don't get better reception. That was a hoax, okay, people?
Yep.
This is a control grid, as far as I'm concerned, that they can dial up and do serious harm with, okay? So we need to reject it everywhere, and then we need to understand how we can protect ourselves from it. And there's a lot of things out there, but we need to understand what it is. That's the first thing. And when you have Congress members taking money to support basically the deterioration of human health, which is what 5G is, you got to take matters into your own hands.
Yeah.
So I know even I looked it up, even the electric companies in California, you can opt out of a smart meter. You have to pay more.
Absolutely.
They make you, isn't it interesting? They always make you pay more, just like with the real ID right now. If you don't have a real ID, we're going to charge you $45. Oh, but you can use your passport. So,
But
but you know,
I know people in California that are going to the DMV and they're saying, "Oh, I have this real ID that has a star on it, and I just learned that I don't want this real ID, and I want a regular ID." And they get their regular ID instead of the real ID. And that one of the DMV people said to them, "I'm curious why you're doing this." Because and the person said why, and she said, Why, why are you curious?" She said, "Because you're the sixth person today who's done this."
good. Maybe people are starting to get it, you
I
know?
think so. I
And
think so.
and I mean, they do marketing campaigns on all of us, and we think things are mandatory sometimes too when they're not. So we really have to read between the lines and find out for ourselves. It's real important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's
Yeah,
plenty of research out there. You're definitely not going to hear about it on the evening news, though, because
yeah,
those evening news channels are all bought and paid for. So
that's
you need
right.
to be looking to other places like Rumble and like Odyssey and other places like that to get the real news about what's
Right.
really true, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Back to the spike protein, though, for everyone that's tuning in or watching this, if you don't know about the spike protein, if you go to getdetox.us on the website, at the top, there's a tab that says spike protein, and you can read about that information. And at the very bottom, there's links to published studies on the spike protein, so that you can really
Wonderful.
understand what the spike protein is. And then if you go to getdetox.us and you click on clinical trial, you can read all about the HSD protocol and what's involved in getting involved with the clinical trial. And you can even enroll online on our store. And I think we did a discount too, for anybody listening to
A
this.
gift for all of our viewers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe Sierra can put that up. The gift that Jen is offering to everyone. It's a discount code. Is that correct?
it's discount 20. So normally we charge a $200 enrollment fee, and anybody watching this program, they can use discount 20 and they can enroll for 180 instead of 200.
What this says is it's a 4-hour workshop where we dive deep into how your health and mindset are intertwined. I think that is maybe from Dr. Amy.
That's not
Um,
mine.
yeah, that's not Jen's. It's a different one.
It's
Um,
okay. It's discount 20.
Here we go.
And
20
yeah,
$20 off homeopathic spike detox enrollment. Yeah,
that's right.
off the $200, $20 off the $200 fee for the spike detox protocol.
And
And
anybody can enroll. I mean, you don't have to be sick or injured to enroll. If you have brain fog, if you feel like you're just not the same, you don't have the same energy, you can enroll, and you're supporting this work by enrolling too. You can also donate. We have a donation link on our website too. And I think it's important for people to understand that if they're taking medications and the medications aren't working anymore, or they're taking supplements and the supplements don't seem to be working anymore, it might be a spike protein issue. It most likely is. And so that's what we're here for. We're here to continue the research and to help people remove that spike protein. And this is hopefully a viable solution for people.
yeah,
So
and people can go there and the Get Detoxed
get
website. Spell
get
that for
detox.
us.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's get detoxed, like a past tense, GETDETOXED.US.
.us, not .com,
Yeah.
.us, because I had a trouble finding it after I watched the redacted. I couldn't understand what it was, and the links weren't working for some reason. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's really helpful to know, and people can actually get matched up and donate. So somebody else who can't afford, because they've been sick for 5 years or 4 years, then they can actually sponsor them to get the care that they need.
I actually had a gentleman contact me last week, and he wanted to take it, but he said, I have 5 people that need it more than I do, and I'll pay for them for the
Wow.
testing and everything.
Wow.
because he
Beautiful.
knew they didn't have the money. And
Beautiful.
I thought that was wonderful. And he's affiliated with all 5 of them, so he's going to know how they're doing. And I thought that's beautiful. You know,
Great.
if people
Great.
can see something like this, know somebody might need it and sponsor them, you know, that's wonderful.
Yes,
mean,
it is. And that's how we're going to get out of this whole mess that we're in, right? Is by supporting each other and holding each other's hands and getting through it together, right?
Right.
And not pointing fingers or blaming each other or calling each other names or whatever, but
That's
actually,
not solution oriented. I mean, we need to evolve from this experience, and there's always solutions, and that we need to be solution focused, and we need to be there for one another, because the people behind this are not, they're still in charge, unfortunately, some of them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even understand why, but it's mind
I,
blowing to me.
I know. I think it has to do with money. I think they have a
Yeah,
lot of money.
definitely.
And I think some people are willing to sell whatever it is they have for money for some reason. I don't understand it either.
I
Yeah.
think there's a disconnect with those people, because, you know, what do they think, they're going to live forever and take that money with?
No,
We're
it's not
talking
gonna happen.
about humanity here. We are in an interesting time and place, and I think we need to realize money should not be the focus anymore. So hopefully some of those representatives in there are going to be for the higher good. I can only
Yeah.
send that energy out
Yeah.
there.
I think our planet, our people, we're ready for love, right? And we're ready for
Yeah.
that vibration and that frequency to rule the world instead of this frequency of money and corruption. I think we've seen plenty of corruption and how that money has played that role in that corruption. And we want love instead of corruption, right? We want
Yeah, and I truly believe if we get enough people resonating in a higher frequency of love, we will come out of this just fine.
I agree. I agree
Mhm.
completely.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a little bit more education because a lot of people are not aware of all this stuff because the media has been bought and paid for as much as the politicians and other things that are ruling our world. So we have to be vigilant, like you said, and awake and make and stand, take our stand and make our choices and have our destiny rather than what somebody else has outlined for us. We don't have to accept what they want for us. We can
No, we need
choose.
to stand in truth and not play into fear. I think, you know, the biggest thing for me when I'm talking to somebody that knows absolutely nothing about my work, or even really what COVID may be, they really don't understand. They don't understand that they're a battery that needs to be charged. I think it's really important to talk to people with love and kindness and say, look, I'd like to share something with you, and do it in a positive way, and always lay out solutions if they're open to it. Because if you're giving somebody something they're just hearing for the first time and they're already living on a fear-based frequency, it's just going to get worse. You have to really understand where people are at. Take the time to get to know where somebody's at, and then address it in a way that they can understand it to their level. Because that's what's happening. We have all this mixed frequency going on with people, and everybody's at a different scale. Everybody's at a different frequency.
Yeah.
So,
and is getdetox.us, is that the best place for people to find you?
It is getdetox.us. They can go through the contact page if they have questions, and somebody will get back to them.
Great.
They can enroll right online. It's funny. It's in the store to enroll online, but it explains it's an enrollment for a case study.
Great. Well, we've gone down some rabbit holes here, and I want to hear if there's anything else that we haven't covered that you would like to leave with our audience. And also, you know, if there's only one thing that people are taking away, what do you want them to take away from this conversation, Jen?
I want people to know that you're in charge of your own well-being. Okay. So don't listen to just me or anyone else as far as your care and your well-being is concerned. Do your own research. I encourage everybody to do their own research and do what feels right for you. And know that there's many solutions out there. But I think the important thing is that everybody needs to start taking responsibility for themselves and their own care. And if COVID did nothing else, I hope that it's at least getting people to do that, to take charge of their own well-being.
Yep. So well said. So true. Yes, yes. And I just want to put in one more plug too. This film, I watched it 2 nights in a row. It's just being released. Um, and it's by this gal who lives right around the neighborhood from me. And I'm going to put this in the chat right now. It's called Just Look Up. Have you seen it,
Oh
Jen?
no, but I've heard of it and I want to.
It's
Well,
so fun.
you're gonna go down another rabbit hole now.
Well, it's a lot of what you and I have spoken about today. It's come up several times, and she talks about it in the film, and she's got a lot of research there and a lot of other stuff. And, it kind of leaves you questioning a little bit, but I felt like it was very playful and lighthearted and okay.
Well, no, it's
that right now.
wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Everybody should watch Just Look Up because that's another piece of the puzzle here.
It is.
Like if I could tell everybody what I do just to stay healthy, I'm constantly detoxing from heavy metals. I'm constantly doing parasite cleanses every 3 to 6 months. And then I take my protocol once or twice a year and I'm eating healthy, and I feel great.
And you move, you do exercise, you get good night's sleep.
I do yoga. I'm on my bike as much as possible. I love bike riding. I'm out on the water in the summer, paddling on my paddleboard, hiking. Yeah, I'm an active person.
Getting time in nature, being barefoot on the ground, grounding yourself.
But I live in nature, so I'm really lucky. Like it's all.
Where is it you live?
I live up in North Idaho.
Idaho. Oh yeah, yeah. I came up there for a conference recently.
Way up at the top by BC.
Oh wow, so a lot of snow up there.
A lot of snow. Yeah, but that's okay. I embrace it. I embrace the seasons.
Good for you. I went with a boyfriend once, and I think it was 1982. We kind of did this road trek to deliver furniture to his sister. She was married to a forest ranger who lived up in northern Idaho, and we had this big U-Haul truck, and we're towing a car behind it, and it was full of stuff. And she said that 6 months out of the year, the snow was like so thick that she couldn't open her doors or windows or see out of her windows. And I thought, I don't want to go there. I'm in the Bay Area.
I love the snow personally. But I would like everybody to watch the redacted interview if they're interested in what we've discussed here with the HSD case study. If you guys could put a link for people to watch the redacted interview, that would be really nice. I think that will give people a little more information about what we're doing. And if you go to the website, getdetox.us, you can always go all through the website. There's all kinds of information on there, honestly. We've got videos on there. There's research on there. On the main page, you can actually view some of our doctors have written some of our clinical case study reports. I think there's like 3 or 4 clinical case study reports at the bottom of the homepage that they can actually read.
Great. I'm looking for that link now because I know I had it, and I want to find it again so that I can share that with people. It's good interview.
We're documenting the results. So, I mean, it's nice to talk about this research, but people can also see some of the different case studies. And like, there's one that had retinal edema, and the lady was on steroids for 2 years, and she was vaccine injured, and she ended up getting steroid-induced glaucoma. And the doctor who's a ophthalmologist from Texas did a scan, and the retinal inflammation and the retinal nerve was like in the 500 range when it should have been in the 200 range. And after 8 weeks in the case study, it went back to normal in the 200 range, the inflammation, and she started getting her vision back.
Isn't that amazing?
So that's one place you guys can go to getdetox.us on the main page, scroll down to the research, and you can find that study along with quite a few others to check out.
So I think I found the link here. This is the redacted interview with Jen Dillon at this Rumble link here. It says researcher develops a natural spike protein detox protocol. That's so yeah, and I'm so delighted that we got to connect. I know I tried to reach you early as soon as I learned about this, and then I went, wait a minute, she's had this out there for a year now, but it was all brand new to me, and I just thought I just really want to have you on here, and so I'm so glad that you made it happen, even though we only connected a few days ago, and I'm just grateful for the work that you're doing.
And anybody that is willing to learn about this research, that's wonderful. And by the way, any of the practitioners that have participated in your program, if they want to get involved, they should contact me.
I might. Yeah.
I mean, everybody can get involved in this. You can try it for yourself. And if you get a good response, then if you want to get involved and be part of the case study and offer it to your patients and oversee their cases. That's what we want. We want everybody that wants to be involved to get involved.
Yep. That's so exciting. And for me, I think it's not only going to help everyone who's still suffering from what happened in this pandemic thing that went down, but I think it's also going to really change the course of medicine because, and maybe even bring homeopathy more mainstream, because it really is about frequencies, and we are vibrational beings. And so it makes perfect sense to me that this electrical sparky energy is what's going to be helpful healing for us. And it's so affordable compared to what we've been paying and what we've been getting. We have not been getting the help we need, and we've been spending an arm and a leg for it. So
we have, and I think that the concept of cellular frequencies, the fact that they act like information codes and that they can guide tissues to form, repair, or even reprogram. And if people could just understand that, and that we're electrical beings, then I think that this research and more research will go a long way.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks again, Jen.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay.